taking off like a Boeing. If the volume spikes, then it's time to trade. Mighty 90 setting up, it's time to get paid. Dr. Chad on the mic, time to get focused. We don't need any indicator, hocus pocus. It's all about the price, just watch it move. Manage your risks so you don't lose. First hour of trading is all we need. Focus on the patience and forget about greed.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's day trading live stream. Today is Wednesday, November 6th, one day after Election Day. What do you know? We have a result. Who would have thunk? S&P up 124, NASDAQ up 350, Russell up, look at the Russell, up 6%, up 136 points. Dow up 1,200, gold down 3%, silver down 5%, notes and bonds are red, 10-year yield popping up 4%, oil down 2%, natty gas up 2%, all the grains are red, euro and the pound red, Bitcoin new all-time highs up 7%, VIX getting crushed down 28%, at the freeze sitting at 15.84. So I turned my Rick off just because, I mean, look at the expected move in SPX. It is 41. You're barely gonna get any upside profit. I left my late Rick bot on just in case, but I doubt it'll set up very well either. Oh, you think it's low? Usually if the expected move is over 35-ish, Ricks typically don't set up that well. But we will see. Opening bell in 40 seconds. Today is Wednesday, so we'll be trading the 2 DTE options. Tesla is leading the pack higher. Well, DJT is up 30%. Coinbase up 14. I guess I shouldn't have said Tesla's leading the way. Wells Fargo is up 14%. Tesla's up 13%. Yeah, I want my upside profit to be at least my profit target. Exactly, Ken. There's the opening bell. Otherwise, I just don't like the risk reward. Expected move in NDX 228. Expected move in SPX 41.6. SPX pushing higher out of the gate. NVIDIA pushing higher. Meta did not like the election. It's down a couple percent. Apple's pretty unchanged. Coinbase now up 16%. So these are the kind of the main stocks I have on my big board: Apple, Amazon, Baba Coin, Meta, Netflix, Nvidia, and Tesla. On my other monitor, I'm looking at AMD, Baidu, Boeing, Square, Roku, MU, Microsoft, and Google. Oh yeah, what I was going to look at that. What is it, Ken? Can you post a screenshot? Apple bouncing, going green. Microsoft touching red. SPX already almost up to its expected move. Cracking above 5,900, obviously all-time highs in SPX. Dow also all-time highs. And the Russell, it's not quite there, but it's looking like it wants to make a run at all-time highs, which it hasn't seen since back in November of 20. November of 20. Ooh. Oh yeah. Yeah, very little upside profit there. Thank you, Ken. So for you BIC traders, I'm going to still let my BICs go. With that expected move, I think we'll have a nice wide. So I'm going to go ahead and let those fire. They won't start for another 10 minutes. Then I'll be selective on potential price action BICs later. But right now, the focus is directional. So getting ready to close our first 5-minute bar here in about 30 seconds. Chinese stocks getting hit. Baba's down 4.5%. Look at Coinbase up 19%. Nvidia still pushing. Yeah, I'll be scaling out of some of my VXX trades. I'm up a couple thousand on the two different tranches I have on. No 1DTE. But that should be something that you have on your trade plan, Chessmaster. Knowing when to trade things is kind of a critical thing. Yeah, but that's why it's so critical to do your own back testing. Like if you don't have option omega and you're trying to trade back tested trades just off of what other people are doing, that's a recipe for disaster. Meta trying to bounce. We're into our second bar, couple minutes in. Also, if you guys see some volume or some price action of interest, let me know if it's something I don't have on my board. Netflix is unchanged. DJT's up 24%. My little bullish butterfly isn't quite up enough. It's profitable, but I'm gonna hold. It's just kind of a similar thing that I do, like on earnings plays, just a little tiny position for fun. I don't trade DJT for day trading. I mean, it's a $40 stock, and you're looking at 35 cents wide on the put side. Looks like it just got halted. DJT's halted. Yeah, that's a pretty good rule of thumb. It really just depends on the liquidity and the price of the options. I don't want to be buying a bunch of like 50-cent options or things like that. I like the options to be at least a buck near the money. All right, coming to the end of our second bar. I'm not seeing any big volume. Coinbase is the closest, but doesn't look like it's going to get there. I don't know if that volume is correct on BABA. The other thing I'll be paying a lot of attention to here is similar to what I talked about if you watched the video that I posted yesterday. Just looking for some areas of level rejection, ideally at key levels. SPX pushed right up to its expected move area in the first 5 minutes and then just sideways here the last couple bars. Boeing is taking a dive down a couple percent. So we'll see if we get any mighty 90 action here in the next few bars. Boeing's still coming down. It could have some volume. Looking at Boeing on a daily chart, it's kind of coming down to those recent lows that it hit back in mid-October. So I'm going to put Boeing on my screen over here. So Boeing volume, it looks like it's going to be a downside volume runner. In Boeing, I'd be looking at the like the 147 puts, but I want to see a little bounce first. Got a few seconds left here on this bar. So Boeing, a nice big downside volume bar. I'm going to put an order on the 147 puts in Boeing. Oh man, those things are wide. Boeing does that sometimes. Look at the call side, only 10 cents wide, but the put side is 40 cents wide on the 147s. 146 isn't as bad. I'm going to put an order on the 147 puts at $1.70. See if it wants to come get me. So I've got an order on the 147 puts, orders at $1.70. It's going to need a bounce to get it. It flushes lower, I miss it. AMD coming down hard. NVIDIA and Coinbase, little rollover. S&P and NASDAQ, little rollover. My first big tranche fired. It's 80 wide, $4 strikes. Boeing's trying to come up to me a little higher. Netflix falling. Yeah, I wouldn't trade that. I mean, look at the options. Puts that at $4 wide. Filled in Boeing at $1.70. Just a small starter position. If we bounce up closer to the high of that bar that had the big volume, I'll add. But I just did a small position. I'm going to put my profit target at $2, which is obviously more than 10%. But if it starts coming down, should hit it. A little more should hit it. It's didn't even need to come back down to lows of day. Chips are coming down, AMD, NVIDIA. You got filled at $2, El Piero? I did not. You took my order. Give it back. Should be getting close again. There we go. Filled at $2. So I will put an order to close some more at I'm going to put my order at 230. I mean, if this thing breaks lows of day, could hit that. The chips decided they were a little overheated, I guess. Apple trying to stay green. Tesla coming down to lows of day, still up 12% for the day. Build at 230 to close some more Boeing. Beautiful. Not even to lows of day yet. Those puts really popped up, didn't they? I've only got one lot left. I just started with 7, took off 4 and then 2. Let my last one run. This light blue line that I marked on my chart that you see, I did that on the daily chart. That was the low of October 14th, where it kind of put in that most recent low. So I want to see how price reacts off that. Roku has been chopping within its first 5-minute bar range. Same with MU. Nvidia trying to bounce back. AMD staying weak. Netflix bounced right up to unchanged and is getting pushed back down. Boeing no follow through lows of day. Amazon pretty choppy, up about 0.5% on the day. Tesla had an initial push up after its big gap up, and it's been all red since. Tried to go through the overnight highs 3 times, got rejected. Netflix trying to go green again. See if it can push up this time. Apple has dipped into red territory a couple times and then popped back up. SPX coming back towards lows of day. NDX pushed through lows of day. VIX popping up a little bit. Back up to 16.78. Boeing still staying weak, but no push. Just kind of grinding lower. Microsoft staying above yesterday's high. Google made an initial push and it's just been kind of chopping sideways. AMD is getting weak. It just went red. Apple bounced off of unchanged, starting to get a decent bounce. Netflix trying to go green. So we're starting to see a little bit of rejection a couple times here in Boeing. Let's see if it's got any more in the tank. So on a continuation runner, really the whole thing about that trade is where is your line in the sand? If it bounces, where do you get out? What are you willing to risk? I don't see any. I mean, you could put your line in the sand at 142.5 right above that last red bar, but it hasn't really consolidated. So Chessmaster, let me show you an example. Like Google would be an example of a potential continuation upside runner where it had an initial push. It's just been kind of chopping sideways. If it breaks below that consolidation, I'd be out. So I want to get an entry as close to that as possible to lower my risk as much as possible, and then try to squeeze as much out of it on the upside if it runs. That's the idea behind the continuation runner. Now you got AMD bouncing. Yeah, and consolidation's a loose term too, right? Like sometimes I'll take early ones. Like if I see a stock, I don't have a good example today, but well, Apple is a good example. It didn't happen, but like it made an initial push above. Well, it's not even above overnight highs, but let's say Apple made this big push out of the gate and then it just pulled right back to yesterday's high. I could use yesterday's high as my line in the sand to say, well, if it goes below that, I'll just cut it for a small loss. But if it bounces, then I'll, try to squeeze some out of it. So it's all about managing risk around a level. So Boeing, yeah, looks like it's got few little rejections of this right above this blue line, which is that low that I pointed out from the daily chart. I'll give it a little bit of time. See if we get one more flush, but I've only got one lot left. Netflix just can't seem to keep its head above the unchanged line. Tesla came down. I rejected that 276 area a couple times. I'm watching Netflix to see if it rejects that level a couple more times. If it does, I would potentially consider something, but nothing at this point. Oh, no, I wouldn't. I'm not looking for a short at the blue line. That's yesterday's highs. The red line is yesterday's close, so that's the unchanged mark. It's tried a couple times to go, started off green, it immediately went red. It's bounced off that unchanged level a little bit, but looks like it's pushing through right now. I would not consider that an M90. You got a nice price push, and that volume bar is slightly higher than the previous one, but it's still quite a bit smaller than the second one. It's not really a volume spike. It's just slightly higher, so not enough separation on that volume. You really want a flush and a spike in volume that signifies exhaustion. Now it did bounce, right? So could have made money on it, but it's not really a mighty 90 setup. Amazon punching through highs of day. I just put a line on my Tesla daily chart, which signifies the high of that recent high it made on October 28th, which is right here. Just as a level to watch to see if price reacts off of it. Yeah, so Netflix, okay. So, talking about this whole level rejection thing, I mean, it looks like it's rejecting going green. So I'm gonna get my finger on the trigger for a potential Netflix short. I would use the 762 half puts. See what it does here on this bar. Got a few minutes left. Coin. No, coin just kind of looks choppy. I mean, obviously it's strong, had the huge overnight gap, but here's the first five, it's still just chopping within its first 10-minute range. On Netflix, they appear wide. Yeah, they are a little bit wide, but it's also, remember, it's a $760 stock. So the higher the price, the wider the width can be, and it's okay. But yeah, Netflix, you will notice if you trade it, you can put in an order 30 cents away and it can get hit like that. So it's okay. So it keeps testing that 765 level and then getting back into unchanged. Let's see where we close here the next 2.5 minutes. Still holding one of my coin puts. The last bar was the first green bar we've had today. All right, it's back down in the red. I'm looking at the 762 half puts in Netflix. Not ready to jump in quite yet. I'm looking at Netflix. Short just keeps rejecting this level. 762 half puts, but not ready to quite enter yet. Amazon taking off. Oh, no, I don't have a trading coin. I have one contract left in Boeing. Oh, did I say coin? Sorry. So it's now rejected that 765 area a couple times. Tesla looks like it's forming a little bit of a bottomy action. Yeah, Netflix is still holding slightly green for now. I'm looking at the 762 half puts. They're a little bit tighter. Roku taking off a little bit. Look at AMD bouncing back. Back above yesterday's high. SPX is still within its first 5-minute range. I mean, that's a 40-point range, but the first bar is 40 points. Okay, so I'm not going to short Netflix. Tesla trying to bounce again. Google pushing up to highs of day. So we got Amazon pushing above its overnight highs. Had some increasing volume, just not really a volume pop, just kind of a gradual increasing these last few bars. Oh, wow. Yeah. DJT's on a wild ride. I need DJT up to about 60 for my trade. This is just this little butterfly that I put on during power hour the other day, yesterday. Nvidia bouncing back, Tesla bouncing back, Netflix is above yesterday's high. Boeing is coming back down towards lows. Google new highs of day. I really wanted to see on Netflix, I really wanted to see that 905 bar close red. And then if the next one, the 910 bar, if it kind of stayed under the high of that little where it kept testing and ideally closed red would have been ideal, but I just, I mean, if you look at Tesla, I mean, I put this line on my chart based on on the daily chart, but so if this little pattern would have happened a little bit lower, it came down and tested. I mean, that's three. I want to see at least three tests of a level. Um, but ideally, I want to see it near a key level as well. Boeing breaking lows. I will try to sell my last Boeing at $3. See if it can come down and get me. No, Tesla's not a mighty 90. Get Amazon going strong. That little volume increase on that push, I mean, that's just still way below the average of the day. Yep, SPX back up towards almost to highs of day. NDX almost to highs of day. Google pushing, Apple almost up to highs of day. Amazon rocking. Nvidia trying to bounce back. AMD trying to bounce back. Microsoft grinding higher through highs of day, through overnight highs. Boeing still dropping. Look at that little Boeing go. Might hit my $3 order. It's close. It's getting a little volume pop. Might have to close in reverse here. Boom, $3 out of Boeing. So we've got about 40 seconds left on this bar. Let's see how big this volume bar gets. It's right at that line that I drew from the daily chart as well, below it now. Mighty 90 long in Boeing. I'd be using the with the 146 calls. Although now it's higher than the first, so scratch that. Yeah, the one thing, it certainly can for sure. The one thing that I don't like about taking this trade is we've already had this significant down move. Then we have a volume spike higher than the first. A lot of times that will signify exhaustion as opposed to continuation. So personally, I won't take another short in Boeing here as a downside volume runner. But if it, if it bounces up like to the lows of that consolidation area, there's, that's certainly a valid setup. Okay, so look at Baidu. Let's put Baidu on the screen. Okay, this is some serious level rejection at yesterday's lows. I'm going to go ahead and take a 92 puts in Baidu. No, 91 puts. 91 puts in Baidu. Trying to get filled at 171. Filled at $1.71. So you can see at 1, 2, 3, just did not want to get above yesterday's lows. So now, that's my line in the sand. If it pushes above these recent highs here, the last few bars, I would get out. Now that's not a tiny amount of risk. I mean, you've got a little bit of risk on this for sure. So you got to position size appropriately, but it really looks like does not want to go above that level. So let's see if we get a little continuation lower here. Okay, Boeing's still going down. Amazon still pushing. It's up 2.5% now after opening just barely green. get these Chinese stocks back down to lows of day. That would work. Another decent sized volume bar on Boeing. All right, so I put in an order to close some of my Baidu at $1.95. I may adjust that up a little bit. See if we get any movement here to the downside. China. Where's my China tariffs, Trump? Boeing's still coming down. AMD back above yesterday's highs, kind of pulled back to it. Baidu is bouncing back up to yesterday's lows. So now I got to be ready to cut if it decides it wants to bounce. Yeah, I know, that was a pretty poor attempt, Dark Avenger. Sorry about that. That's all I got, though. That's all I got, my friend. China. I got into the 91 puts in Baidu at $1.71. That's right. You got to have the hand motions. Apple ticking around near highs of day. MU trying to push up to highs of day. SPX new highs of day. NDX new highs of day. Now, Amazon had a little volume pop higher than the rest besides the first bar. Could see a little pullback in Amazon. I don't think I'm going to step in front of that one. Rather be short Baidu. But it's currently bouncing. Let's see if it can hold the line. All right, so it's back up to the area where it got rejected. Let's see if it can do it again. But so here's, I mean, this is a good example. So I did a 20 lot. I'm down $500 on the trade right now. So by the time, if it pushes up, by the time I get out, I might lose 700. So you just, you need to make sure you position size appropriately for the amount of potential risk you might have. But let's see. It's testing it again. $171. I got filled at 171. Amazon still rocking. Well, I want to go get some more coffee, but a little too close to needing to bail if this thing pushes. So I'm going to sit here and wait. Come on down, Baidu. You know you're not going anywhere. Square had a little upside volume runner. I did not see. Pulled back a tiny bit before shooting up again. SPX taking a little pause, a little pullback at the expected move line. Coinbase trying to get back up to highs of day. Apple sitting at highs of day. Boeing finally paused from going down. Well, Baidu trying to test again. It's really trying to test that 91.50 level. 91.55-ish. Yeah, got pushed back down again a little bit. Microsoft, a little pullback. Google, a little pullback. Nvidia, a little bit. Little rejection again. I think you've tested it enough, Baidu. It's time to go to your home, which is lows of day. My watch list? I've got a futures watch list. I've got my stocks watch list. What are you looking for? There you go. All right, Baidu got rejected 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times at that level. It's a good sign. Well, let's try to go back up and test it again. Yeah, we need Baidu to move. Coinbase back up to highs of day, up 20%. Bitcoin is not quite back up to highs of day. It's just been kind of chopping sideways. Not much of a push in Netflix. Yeah, I know. I mean, like Baidu's got to be getting tired here. So Boeing certainly didn't bounce on that big volume. So you could potentially look at Boeing as a downside continuation runner here. If you think it has more in the tank to the downside, you would exit if it pushed above this little consolidation area. I'm sticking with Baidu for now. Yep, dollar, strong dollar. So this is a point where I would potentially add to Baidu. I'm going to just keep what I've got, but or at least I'd wait till the end of this bar and potentially add. This time it tried to push up, couldn't even get back above yesterday's lows. Just really looks like it wants to come down. Coinbase pushing. Yeah, I don't always see logic in the markets myself, Dark Avenger. Tesla had a little push up, a little push down. Now it's just kind of sideways. Been on here for a little over an hour now. Just waiting to see if Baidu is going to do anything. All right, Baidu back down to the bottom of that consolidation range. Let's crack it. MU breaking out, up 4%. Google is still up over 3, but pulling back to that consolidation area. Coinbase up 20. Whoa, what happened in Baidu? How come my order didn't get filled? What the? What the what? This is just a misprint. Huh. Not sure what to think about that. Had an order at $1.95. That little print went right through it. Huh. Yeah, I can see $1.80 plus getting filled. Might have just been a misprint here. Looking at a chart of the option, it looks like it got up to 185. Well, let's get back down there for real this time. Well, it's because it's a limit order and price can jump limit orders. So I got to be careful about using stop limits because it could jump right over that thing and just keep going. Yeah, I don't know. I guess that depends on where you were in the queue. Yeah, I don't know the answer. We got SPX coming back down to mid-range, NDX the same. Coinbase, a little pullback off the highs. Boeing, getting a little bit of a bounce. Yeah, I'm doing some big trades. I'll be real selective with my price action BICs, but probably wait till this afternoon. Now, it's not really a flat line. As I said earlier, that first 5-minute bar is 40 points from high to low. So It's a little deceiving when you're looking at the chart. I have my scheduled BICs, and then I do my discretionary price action ones. All right, my friends, I'm going to sign off here. The plan for Baidu, if it pushes back above highs of day, I'll bail. Otherwise, let's see if I can capture some profits to the downside. Hopefully it stops chopping here soon. All right, all. Everybody have a good rest of your day. See you in Power Hour. Talk to you soon.